and a very warm welcome to Emirates International School Jumeirah. My name is Pyp Exhibition and I'm Head of Primary. You are with us this morning as you're looking at our school to educate your child. I can assure you, you will not be disappointed. We're going to take you on a journey to have a look at our school, and I hope you will meet some of our amazing students. I'm going to introduce you now to Scott Kirkland. Scott is our curriculum coordinator and he's going to lead you on that journey. Please enjoy.
Thank you, Miss Exley. And I'm Scott Kirkland, the curriculum coordinator here at Emirates International School Jumeirah. And our curriculum is IB. Now IB starting down in the early years department, which is on our ground floor, then going up into PYP, our primary years program, then across over into high school for our MYP program and DP program. Now, our early years department is all on our ground floor, and the beauty of it being on the ground floor is that every single classroom has direct access to the outside. So that allows us to take the learning from inside the classroom to outside the classroom. And being early years, it's all play-based learning. It's all learning through inquiry with hands-on experiences. Even in COVID times, we have smaller class sizes to allow for that social distancing. Now, let me take you up our stairs to our Years 1 and Year 2. Now, up on our first floor, we have our Year 1 and our Year 2 classes. Also, we've got some of our other amazing facilities that we've got in this new building, which is around 2 years old now. Now, behind me here, we've got our art gallery, and behind there we have our music room. Now, in post-COVID times, Years 1, 2, 3 and 4, we'll be having some of their music in there, getting more of that hands-on learning that IB is known for. Now, across in our corner, we've got our multi-purpose hall, and in our multi-purpose hall, like the name suggests, lots of different things happen. We'll be having a lot of our PE in there, especially during the hotter months, as well as teachers' professional development can happen in there, and as well as some of our extracurricular activities. Now, behind us down this corridor, we've got one of our first science labs. Now again, in post-COVID times, that's where the students get to go in and do some more of the hands-on scientific learning that is imperative to them developing those inquiry skills. Now, what we'll do now is take a stroll down this first corridor here and have a look at some Year 2 classrooms. Now, being an IB school, we cover our 6 units of inquiry each year. They tend to work out to be each half term. Now, if we look at Year 2, they were looking at how we organise ourselves. And they had a central idea that was people create systems to meet the needs and wants of a community. And that's what the students learn through. And that's broken down into lines of inquiry. As you can see, the first line of inquiry for Year 2 has been the diversity of food from around the world. Now, all of their science, all of their language is coming through those lines of inquiry. Now, if we look at that as our example, the Year 2 students were looking at habitats. And as part of that, they were looking at that scientific knowledge of seasons and how the seasons affect different habitats. Now, being IB, we look for conceptual understanding. Now, conceptual understanding means that bigger picture thinking. So the teachers asked that broader question of what seasons are. Now, and what does this word season mean? Now, one of my very proud moments as an educator father, my daughter raised her hand and she said, season is a set of TV shows. Now, she wasn't wrong. Slightly embarrassed, but wasn't wrong. Another boy said, a season, it's a football season. Now, all of these answers are correct. The piece of knowledge they had to have was spring, summer, autumn, winter. But the conceptual understanding that the students were gaining was that this word season had a bigger meaning, something more deep than just 4 facts. So the teachers kept questioning and they came up with their own generalisation. So in Year 2, the students were now discussing this word season in terms of a length of time. Now that knowledge is transferable rather than just facts. And as you can see, that started to come out in all of the habitats that they've had to develop as part of their learning. Now, being an IB school, we have our learner profiles. Now, they're set down from IB, and there's 10 of them. But Emirates International School Jumeirah, we decided to make them our own. So we took what the IB statements and what they gave us, and we gave them to Years 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And we asked the students what it meant to them. So they started to take ownership over it. Now, as part of this learning, the students designed their own learner profile certificates, their own learner profile posters that had meaning for them. Now they're phased across the school. So we've got different ones for years 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 compared to our year 2 ones. So we can start to see that progression that the students are going to be making against those learner profile statements. The beauty of it is, it now all flows seamlessly. Now, as part of our reporting process, you'll be getting information on your students' development against the IB learner profiles that you know has been personalised by students. I think that's really powerful because it's students taking control of their learning. We're going to head on down our corridor too. We're going to have a look at some of our art rooms as well. Okay, now we're up on our second floor where we have our years 3 and 4. Now, we also have some other amazing facilities up here with us as well. We've got our second science lab, which again, during post-COVID times is used for the students to come into and really engage in some hands-on learning. Now behind me, down this corridor here, we have our fabulous library. It's one of the best places for students to go, relax and read. Now, during our COVID times, we can't exactly use it, so all library learning is done in classes, but it's one of the best spaces in the school. Now, reading makes up a major part of our curriculum and it is one of our focuses. We really encourage all of our students to have a book with them at all times, on their desks, in their bags and at home. Now, reading makes up a major part of our home learning as well. Now, one of the biggest questions I always get asked is, what's the difference between an IB curriculum and other curriculums around the world? Now, most curriculums around the world are already starting to go more inquiry-based. It's just that IB's been doing it for a lot longer. Now, one of the best examples I can give is if I was teaching in the United Kingdom, I'd be doing a unit on Roman Britain. And I'd have my class learn all about Roman Britain. We'd be looking at what they wore, what the soldiers did, how they fought, their buildings, their structures. We'd be looking at all of those things. The students would be creating fact files at the end of it and they'd take home a little pack of different artifacts they'd made. But at the end of it, all that information is pretty useless because we don't live in Roman Britain anymore. Now, within an IB education, we would flip that. And instead of just looking at Roman Britain, we'd be looking at invaders. And then we'd start to pull apart what invaders were. Now, even if I was working in the UK at an IB school, I'd still be bringing in all of my content about Roman Britain, but I'd be putting the lens of invaders on. That turns it into more of a transdisciplinary learning. When we start thinking about transdisciplinary learning, I'd then be bringing into that a lot of my sciences. When we start talking about invaders, looking at habitats, what plants come and invade, what animals come and invade habitats. When we look at our human body, when we have viruses like we have at the moment, what viruses are now invaders. When part of my computer sciences, I'll be looking at viruses and computers. So instead of just learning about one thing, I'm now learning about a broader conceptual understanding of invaders, where again, I'd be looking at different countries as well. So instead of making it narrow, I've now broadened it. And I'll be bringing in a lot of my approaches to learning and my skills into that. Now, with some great examples of this as we walk down our Year 4 corridor. Now over here we had a science lesson with Year 4 where they created some figures, but the whole lesson was based around light and shadows. Now they were doing this through art, and this was all linked back to our sports day. So you can have a look where during a science lesson, they were modelling using tinfoil for art. The students didn't know if it was an art lesson or a science lesson. They knew that what they were trying to achieve was an understanding of how shadows are formed and how shadows move. And in doing so, they were creating their figures for art and they were linking that back to their sports day. Now, as an IB school, that's what we want to try and achieve, so that we break down those barriers between lessons so it becomes about the learning rather than the subject. Now, if we head on back down this corridor again, we can have a look at where Year 4 learn. Now over here we've got some of our Year 4 learning from 4U. Now it's the start of their 4th unit of inquiry and they're looking at sharing the planet. So the first thing the teachers are going to be doing is looking at tuning into what the students already know. So we've got a great display here where the teachers have asked them, how can we help the environment? because that's looking at one of their lines of inquiry. You can see some of the learning and some of the knowledge that the students are already bringing into the classroom. Okay, so now let's head across to our Year 5 and 6. Here we are in our junior school block where we have Years 5 and 6. Now on the ground floor, we've also got our junior school hall, and on the first floor, we have our junior school library. Now behind me, we've got our houses: earth, fire, air and water. Now each child is put into a house and they earn house points through their behaviour management, through their exceptional learning. And as you can see, it's a very tight race at the moment. Now we'll head upstairs to the first floor and I'll talk you through about our Pyp Exhibition with Year 6. Here we have another great example of transdisciplinary learning where for Year 6, their last unit of Who We Are, they looked at the human body and how the systems of the human body fitted together. Now that went across into their Arabic A learning as well. Now again, that's just a great example of what we try to achieve here at Emirates International School Jumeirah, breaking down the barriers between subjects so we focus on learning. We'll head down here and we'll have a look at some more Year 6. Now over here we've got some great examples of independent learning from our Year 6 students. Independent learning to try and prepare them for exhibition, which I'll come to in a moment. Now the students were looking at an experiment looking at how to make blood, looking at plasma and looking at red and white blood cells. They were given instructions and they had to do it themselves. They had to gather all of their evidence, they had to record the experiment to prove they understand, rather than here's a set of instructions, do it, tick box, you're done. That's why we've got our QR codes here. But sitting behind that QR code is all the evidence the students had to gather themselves. Now that helps prepare them for that exhibition I spoke about. Now Pyp Exhibition is where the students run a unit of inquiry themselves. This year we're looking at how we organise ourselves. So the students' whole focus will be how they manage their own exhibition. Now they'll be writing their own central ideas, they'll be writing their own lines of inquiry, and then they'll be coming up with contributing questions. And they'll be running a 6-week investigation into the topic of their choice. Again, sitting behind that are all of the expectations that we as a school put on them, all of the rigour that we put on them. They'll be assessing themselves against rubrics that we as a team and as the students make together to say this is what we're going to say is outstanding. Having that student input into that rubric is absolutely vital for them to take control of their learning. Okay, now let's head outside and we'll have a look at our fields. Now the last part of our tour finds us out on our primary school fields where Years 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 come out to play at varying times of the day. Now living in Dubai for 12 years, I know how vital it is to make sure we are getting outside and we are getting that exercise. And that's why here at Emirates International School Jumeirah, we still make sure we make that time during the day, even during COVID, to make sure our students are outside being active, being safe. Okay, I'd like to thank you for taking the time to come on this virtual tour with me today. And I hope that I'll be seeing you in the not too distant future. Now I'd like to hand over to our counterpart in high school, the Deputy Head, Mr. Neil Murphy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Kirkland, and welcome to the high school campus. My name's Neil Murphy, I'm the Deputy Head Teacher of High School, and I'm going to tour you around the campus, show you some of our classrooms and outdoor spaces, and also talk to you about the wonderful opportunities that exist in our middle years programme, diploma programme, and the careers related programme. If you'd like to follow me. Before we go any further, I'd like to talk about the history of the school. In 1992, the high school building opened with a cohort of approximately 200 students, and we were the first school in Dubai to offer the diploma programme. In 1994, that first cohort graduated from the diploma programme, and subsequently, we have over 2,000 graduates of the diploma. In 2015, we instituted the middle years programme, and in 2017, we instituted the careers related programme, making us one of the few schools in Dubai to offer all 3 programmes in the high school. If you'd like to follow me, we can discuss those programmes in more depth. On entry into the high school in Year 7 or Grade 6, Students will undertake courses in the middle years programme, which goes from year 7 through to year 11. The subjects that we offer are English, maths, science, individuals and societies, language acquisition, the arts, design and PHE. All of the programmes are of equal value in the eyes of the IB and also for us as a school, and they are assessed with a mixture of formative assessment regularly throughout the year and summative assessments to test students on what they've learned throughout their units. All subjects in the middle years programme are delivered explicitly throughout the curriculum. However, we also offer opportunities for students to learn in an interdisciplinary way through interdisciplinary units. For example, science and mathematics and how approaches to learning in both of those subjects can be applied to the real world. And in addition to our disciplinary and interdisciplinary units, we also place value in service learning, and in the MYP, that's service as action. If you'd like to follow me, we can discuss our core subjects in greater detail. Maths is another popular subject across the high school. In years 7 and 8, all students follow the same maths curriculum. For years 9 to 11, our more able mathematicians are able to follow an extended programme of maths to stretch and challenge them sufficiently. For students in the diploma programme, there are two options: maths analysis and maths applications, depending on which career or which university degree they would like to study. We're going to go to English now, so please follow me. The language of instruction is English, and it's taught in the curriculum from years 7 to 13. In years 7 to 11, students experience English literature and English language and study them in depth. When students get to the diploma programme, they can choose English literature, English language, or a combination of both language and literature. I'm now going to share with you our offer for Arabic and Islamic studies. Follow me. As an international school, we value and recognise the importance of language development. Within our school community, there are over 50 languages spoken, and in our taught curriculum, all students will learn at least 2 languages up to the end of year 9, and then from years 10 to 13, they will take another language through to the end of the diploma programme. Okay, next stop is the library. Follow me. As an IB school, our library is the academic heartbeat of the school. Not only a place where students can access and resource materials like books and journals to help their own research and to develop their knowledge and understanding, it's also a place where students learn research skills and also develop their information literacy working with our excellent librarian. The next stop on our tour is going to be our sports facilities. Follow me. The arts curriculum is very important to the development of the child holistically, and within our school we offer music, drama and visual arts from year 7 through to year 13. Many of our students choose to take visual arts, drama and music as separate subjects at the end of the MYP in years 10 and 11, and some of our students also choose those subjects as part of their diploma programme. If you'd like to follow me, I'm going to show you some of the facilities. All of our students enjoy studying one of 3 options in the arts faculty. In years 7 to 9, students do drama, visual arts and music on rotation, and then they choose an option in years 10 and 11 from one of those 3. Students also take an option in the diploma programme for either theatre studies, visual art or music. All of our students study a range of subjects within the design faculty. We're in a food room now, and that's one of those subjects. We also offer product design, IT and textiles. From year 10 to year 11, students will pick one of those options as an e-portfolio subject, and they also have the option to take computer science in the diploma programme. If you'd like to follow me, we're going to make our way to end the tour now. Well, that's the end of the high school tour. It's been a real pleasure showing you around today. I hope to meet you in person one day, but in the meantime, if you do have any queries, please do email or call us on the number on the website and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Take care.